Hi, this is Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're talking about planetary energies that will be affecting all of us. That's right, today we are talking about Mars in retrograde in the sign of Gemini. And this one's going to be a little bit longer than most. Most of the time, Mars is kind of in and out of a sign pretty quickly, and this one is going to hang around for a little bit. So it's going to really be affecting us for quite a while. So this is kind of an interesting energy for us. So let's talk about all things Mars in retrograde in the sign of Gemini. So actually, Mars went into the sign of Gemini on August 20th. It started pre-shadow, or kind of backing up in that pre-shadow energy on September 3rd. On October 30th, it will station full retrograde in the sign of Gemini. And then January 12th, it will start direct, so it'll kind of get out of that regular retrograde energy and move into post-shadow energy on January 12th, and will stay in that post-shadow energy until March 15th. So that'll be kind of like, interesting. And then kind of one of the other things, it will stay in that same energy, in that Mars energy, until it enters Cancer, the sign of Cancer, on March 25th. So it's kind of really a long time to stay in that energy. I think it's like 7 months completely, where it's normally not in a sign for that long. So let's kind of basically look at both of these, and then we're going to combine their energies and hopefully get you a little bit deeper insight into all things Mars in retrograde. So Mars is really associated with like energy, action, motion, moving forward, powering through, kind of this very masculinity, kind of like very protective, defensive, moving forward, go, go, go. It can also bring up anger and aggression with people. So it's kind of like that kind of energy, but it can also be life force energy of just like we're moving forward in our life. So that's just kind of Mars in a nutshell. Now let's look at Gemini. Gemini is communication, logic, mentally, like your mental capacity, kind of like making connections and kind of between 2 points, kind of like, oh, no one else would have put these two together, but someone in Gemini will, or collecting information and kind of like bringing this new levels of communication. And it can also be all kinds of communication. It can be telephone, text, messaging, FaceTime, whatever it is, Messenger, whatever it is, WhatsApp, whatever it is, kind of thing. So all of those can be coming in there, and some of them may have issues during this time frame because we've got this action energy and this communication energy kind of in kind of a tight squeeze for a little bit. So kind of together, Mars in the sign of Gemini can bring up like lively conversations and conversations where like, I never thought I would ever talk to someone about this, or whatever it is. Kind of like those connections with other people of just kind of like, wow, I found someone who is like-minded like me, and we can talk about this, or we can debate things or have a conversation without getting mad or upset. We're just kind of like moving through all of this. And that can be kind of a great energy. It can also bring up that defensive energy of like, how dare you ask me about this, or I don't want to talk about that. And it can be kind of like that mind on hyperdrive. So you're kind of like your mind in Gemini, and your actions or your words in Mars. So you're kind of like running at everything. So this can be a very different kind of energy, and it will urge you to communicate with other people. But I guarantee you, some of those communications are going to be great, and some of them are going to be like awkward, weird kind of thing. It's kind of everything in general. So Mars in retrograde is really kind of like the planet of action and moving forward. Those people that are always constantly moving, kind of being stuck in a traffic jam for the next couple of months. of like people that are normally like go, 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 kind of like, okay, we got to slow down and take it easy, or we have to figure this out, or this doesn't work well. And it's kind of like, what? Yeah. Mars will be slowing down and kind of going into that. And so it's going to be kind of intensifying that kind of energy of like, I want to move, but I really feel like I'm stuck. So kind of like I'm stuck in traffic, kind of energy of push, 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 but not really getting anywhere. And that is going to how your communication is going to feel at the same time. It's kind of like in Gemini, it's going to be, I want to communicate, but last time we had a misunderstanding. And some people will really find this invigorating of like, wow, I never thought I could talk to someone about this, and we're talking about it. And then other ones will be like, oh, I put my foot in my mouth and I should be quiet. So all of this is kind of normal during this time frame, but I guarantee you, people that are always in motion, those people that go, 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 are going to be feeling frustrated. And it's really kind of hard for them to calm down sometimes and kind of really do some inner work, or kind of look at things a little bit differently, because they're always usually so much in motion that it's like, oh, I can't work on that. I've got to go, go, go. And now they have time to slow things down. It's like, okay, I'm not ready for all of that. One of the things I would say is kind of Mars in retrograde. If you're a really action person, I would really slow down on your inner work. If you've been working on things like your shadow work, or kind of like clearing things out, I would kind of take that on ease for a little bit, so that when it hits you, it's not so overwhelming for you, and you can move through it a little bit slower. You can't say you can't do it, or I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just saying like that's a suggestion. But I would also say kind of finding new avenues to kind of feel like you are in motion. So kind of if you aren't a walker or a jogger, kind of get that out and going. That can help you feel a little bit more in motion. But like I said, it may not be the time to kind of do all of your shadow work right now. So kind of one of the things that's really interesting is one of the key dates for Mars in retrograde is November 19th. Mars will form a square with Neptune in Pisces, which will make it really hard for us to feel like we're moving forward. Kind of like it's going to be like a traffic jam with a car accident in the front where no one can move around and we're all just kind of stuck there. The problem is though, what's going to be stuck is it's going to bring up for a lot of people fears, deep-seated phobias and fears, things that we thought we left behind, kind of like we outgrew. We're not afraid of that anymore because we outgrew it. It's going to come back up, and it's going to make a lot of people feel very stuck, very unsure, unsafe, unprotected. So it can bring up this energy. And then it kind of, with that Neptune and Pisces, can also bring up this air of mystery, of kind of like having nightmares about things or people or situations. We may have to use our investigative skills to kind of really, is it my energy or is it theirs? Whose is it really? Because sometimes it's like, if we're really sensitive, we may be having dreams for other people, but we could also kind of amp up that energy of they're having fears and they're like, we're having a conversation with them, and it can really affect both of us. So kind of like your dreams will be really intense during that time frame. That can be one. I will say kind of working out or trying to understand your dreams is going to be a really key part of this, is really understanding your dreams and where you're going with this. Personally, dreams are really great ways of kind of working through stuff and kind of pulling things up. But during this time frame, like I said, there could be a lot of phobias in that, so you could kind of deal with that as well. Our next key date is November 28th. Mars in retrograde will form a trine with Saturn in Aquarius, and this could be one of two ways. It could be kind of making us feel stronger, that we have stronger foundations, or kind of feeling like we can move forward a little bit, or kind of making new adjustments and things. But it can also make us feel like there are power struggles coming around, or people are trying to push us into doing things that we don't really want to do or don't really want to deal with. So this can be really kind of one of those overwhelming, and kind of this weird part is both of these are kind of like around Thanksgiving, so we're going to be around our families, and so that can trigger us to kind of start on this energy a little bit early. Traumas that we had as a kid when we're around our family members can kind of amplify that as well. I think that's kind of one of the interesting things. So if you've been doing some shadow work and you have a lot of stuff with your family, that's why I was saying like it might be best to kind of put that to the side for a little bit. Once Mars kind of starts moving direct on January 12th, there's going to be some post-shadow energy that's kind of really interesting. I will say that it's kind of many feelings of like anger, kind of repressed anger. Like I feel like I've been like pushing this energy down for a long time, and it may be coming up, but not until we're in that post-shadow energy after, like I said, January 12th. Mars has a really fiery kind of energy, and it's been pushed down or suppressed for a long period of time. So that's where we're going to feel like we're really going to move forward. And I will tell you that when we're in that post-shadow energy, we may feel like we're ready to start rebuilding things. Don't jump back into things too quickly. Allow it to kind of settle out a little bit. Kind of like, what do you want to do? And don't just pick up where you left off, because this may be something like, I was doing this before and now I'm going to go into this again. Maybe this is a time to really slow things down and really kind of put things into perspective. Like I said, it's going to be in that post-shadow energy for just a little bit of time, but make sure you take a little bit of time for yourself and what's come up and have you work through it. If you haven't worked with a counselor or a psychic to kind of help with that side of it, and it could also be working with a psychic to help understand your dreams, can be one of the really big ones that can really help. I guarantee you a lot of people are going to feel very frustrated during this post-shadow energy, feeling like they're ungrounded or unclear. They may also feel like they're just being bogged down. All of that, it's really kind of the way we feel with Mars in retrograde. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but we may feel a little overwhelmed in that energy. So let's pull some angel cards and let's give us a little bit deeper insight into all things Mars in retrograde in the sign of Gemini. My first card I'm pulling out is forgiveness. Forgive not only yourself, but forgive others. If there's frustration in communication, or you're kind of feeling a little frustrated, or someone else is, understand and kind of let it go. Don't hang on to like, well, you were grumpy the other day. Well, you could be grumpy too. So kind of relax that energy a little bit, can make things a little bit easier, not only for you, but for them as well. The next one is music. I really always think music is a great thing all the time. Calming us down, relaxing us out, and sometimes it can make us feel not so stuck in energy as well. So kind of not so like, oh my gosh, music can really bring that out. So if you're frustrated, play some music that really brings out that frustration, or dance around like you're really frustrated so you can get that out before you take it out on someone else. Enchantment. This is really talking about our childhood fears coming forward. We're going to really feel that around the 19th of November kind of energy. So make sure that you are really working through some of those, and it could be fears that you really thought like, oh my gosh, I thought I let this go when I was 5 or 6 or 7 years old. This could be coming back up for you. The next one is intention. Setting your intentions right in this time frame of doing some work on you and kind of taking some time to yourself and kind of rethink or remodify like your actions and your game plan and your kind of your life path or whatever it is, and kind of like, what am I doing that's really motivating me, or the stuff that I really, really need for myself. That can be one of those amazing energies that can come up for you, of just kind of like, now I'm working through it. Now I'm really getting through this. The next one is all about focus. What is your focus during this time frame? Are you really focusing on you? Or are you focusing on others? And sometimes when we focus on others, it's because we really don't want the focus on ourselves. We want everybody to focus on someone else, so they're getting the attention because we don't want it. And that's not a good thing. New love. There is a possibility of some new loves coming up during this time frame, and you're like, really? Yeah, because people that would normally you would be like, I wouldn't talk to this person, this is not the type of person, you may feel led to communicate with them. You may feel kind of like led to open this up and kind of move into that energy, and kind of like, oh, I'm going to get out of my way and start talking to someone. So you may be able to open up to some people's energy that you normally wouldn't do. Trust that you're following your instincts. When someone feels their energy feels like really stuck or that sort of thing, give them a wide berth. Give them a little bit of a break today and kind of like not pushing their energy, because it can not only trigger them, but it can also trigger you as well. And sometimes it's not as good as we think it is. Sometimes people are like, oh, I just love triggering other people. Well, it can be an energy that can be overwhelming, and it may not be what you really, really want to do at that time frame, because not only can it trigger you, but it can also trigger other people as well. Our last card is about retreating, and this is a really good one to kind of know when a planet is in retrograde. Also during this time frame, we're going to be dealing with our 4th Mercury in retrograde of 2022. So that's going to be kind of messing up our communication as well. So just know that that's also in play during this time frame. So it's kind of like, let's play nice and try to communicate as clearly as we possibly can, because it's important for all of us. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.